This video presents topics of violence, murder, and death. Viewer discretion advised.
The disappearance of Roy Pedro Teixeira Mendonça is a tragic case that occurred in Portugal in 1998. Roy Pedro, a young boy, vanished without a trace at the age of 11, sparking a high-profile and enduring mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Here's a general description of the events surrounding his disappearance. Rui Pedro Teixeira Mendonça was born on October 28, 1987 in Lusada, a municipality in the Porto district of Portugal. He lived with his family in the town of Lusada, which is located north of Portugal. On March 4, 1998, Rui Pedro disappeared under mysterious circumstances. According to reports, he was last seen in Lusada while riding his bicycle near his home. Eyewitnesses report seeing him talking to an unknown man in a white car, which subsequently drove away. This was the last confirmed sighting of Rui Pedro. The disappearance of Pedro prompted an extensive investigation by Portuguese authorities. Law enforcement officials conducted searches, interviewed witnesses, and pursued numerous leads in an effort to locate the missing boy. Despite their efforts, no significant breakthroughs were made in the case. The case received significant media coverage both in Portugal and internationally. Pedro's disappearance deeply affected the local community and sparked widespread concern and speculation about his fate. His photograph was circulated widely in the hope of generating leads or sightings that could aid in the investigation. Pedro's family tirelessly campaigned for information about his disappearance. They made public appeals for assistance, participated in awareness-raising events, and worked closely with law enforcement officials in the search for their missing son. Over the years, they maintained hope for Pedro's safe return and continued to seek answers about what happened to him. Despite the passing of time, the case of Pedro remains unsolved to this day. His disappearance has become one of Portugal's most enduring and perplexing missing persons cases. It continues to haunt his family and the wider community, who are determined to keep his memory alive and to seek justice for him. Over the years, following his disappearance, renewed efforts have been made to solve the case. Investigators have pursued new leads and technologies, including DNA analysis and forensic techniques, in the hope of uncovering fresh evidence that could shed light on what happened to Pedro. However, as the latest available information, there's no significant breakthroughs that have been reported. The disappearance of Rui Pedro Teixeira Mendonça remains a haunting and unresolved mystery. Despite the passage of time, the efforts of law enforcement, the media, and the community, his fate to this day remains unknown. The case serves as a reminder of the importance of continued vigilance in searching for missing persons and seeking closure for their families. Rui Pedro Teixeira Mendonça was born on October 28, 1987, in Lusada, Portugal. He was the only child of Filomena Teixeira and Luis Mendonça. Rui Pedro grew up in a close-knit family in the town of Lusada, located in the Porto district of northern Portugal. Described as a bright and energetic young boy, Rui Pedro was known for his playful nature and outgoing personality. He attended school in Lusada, where he was active and an engaged student. He enjoyed spending time outdoors, riding his bicycle, and playing with his friends in the neighborhood. On March 4th, 1998, tragedy struck when, as mentioned earlier, Pedro disappeared under mysterious circumstances at the age of 11. He was last seen riding his bicycle near his home in Lusada. Eyewitness reported seeing him talking to an unknown man in a white car before he vanished. And despite the best efforts by law enforcement and the community to locate him, Pedro's whereabouts remain unknown. Pedro's disappearance deeply affected his family and the local community, sparking widespread concern and speculation about his fate. His parents, Filomena and Luis, tirelessly campaigned for information about his disappearance, making public appeals for assistance and participating in awareness-raising events. His photographs has been circulated widely in the hope of generating leads or sightings that could aid in the investigation. As of the latest information available, Pedro Teixeira's Mendonça's disappearance remains to this day an unsolved mystery, leaving his family and the wider community still searching for answers and closure to his case. As you can see in the background of this video, this is a photo of him as a child and a photo of what he might look like as an adult. If you or anyone have information about the case, please call the appropriate law enforcement agencies or contact the family. As of the last update from the case, there hasn't been any publicly disclosed information regarding specific suspects in the disappearance of Pedro Teixeira Mendonça. The case remains unsolved, and authorities have not publicly named any individuals as suspects in relation to his disappearance. However, it's important to note that law enforcement agencies typically keep details about suspects confidential during ongoing investigations to avoid compromising the process or potentially harming innocent individuals. Therefore, unless there has been developments since the upload of this video, there may not be any publicly available information about suspects involved in Pedro's disappearance. It's worth mentioning that in cases like this, speculation and rumors can sometimes circulate, but it's essential to rely on verified information from credible sources. The focus should remain on supporting efforts to solve the case and provide closure for the Pedro's family, rather than spreading unsubstantiated information about potential suspects. The disappearance of Pedro Teixeira Mendonça in Portugal in 1998 prompted an extensive investigation involving various law enforcement agencies and officials. While the specific details of each agency's involvement may not be publicly available in their entirety, here are some of the key entities and how they played a role in the investigation. Polícia Judiciária, the PJ. PJ is the Criminal Investigation Police Agency of Portugal. It is responsible for investigating major crimes, including missing persons cases like the disappearance of Pedro. The PJ likely took the lead coordinating the search efforts, conducted interviews, and gathered information related to the case. The Guarda Nacional Republicana, GNR. The GNR is the National Gendarmerie Force of Portugal. It would have been involved in assisting with the search operations, conducting patrols, and providing logistical support during the investigation. The Polícia de Segurança Pública, PSP. The PSP is a civil police force in Portugal. responsible for maintaining public order and safety in urban areas. Whilst primary focus may not be on criminal investigation, they would have provided assistance in certain aspects of the case, such as crowd control during public searches or during special events related to Rui Pedro's disappearance. The Interpol, the International Criminal Police Organization, would have been notified about Rui Pedro's disappearance, especially if there were concerns that he would have been taken across international borders. Interpol facilitates cooperation and information sharing between law enforcement agencies worldwide. Local police departments. Of course, the local police departments in the vicinity of Lusada, where Rui Pedro went missing, would have been actively involved in the initial response to his disappearance. They would have conducted searches, interviewed witnesses, and gathered information relevant to the case. Forensic experts and specialists. Forensic experts and specialists in various fields such as forensic anthropology, DNA analysis, and forensic psychology would have been consulted or involved in analyzing evidence related to Rui Pedro's disappearance. Police prosecutors and judicial authorities. Police prosecutors and judicial authorities would have been overseen the legal aspects of the investigation, including issuing search warrants, approving investigative measures, and possibly initiating legal proceedings if suspects were identified. Those were some of the key law enforcement agencies and entities that likely played a role of some kind in the investigation in the disappearance of Teixeira Mendonça. It's important to note that the specific details about their involvement may vary, and additional agencies or organizations may have also been involved in supporting the investigation. Due to the nature of this case and the ongoing investigation, specific details about the evidence in the disappearance of Rui Pedro Teixeira Mendonça may not all be publicly available, especially not in exhaustive details. However, here are some of the key pieces of evidence and information that have been reported or discussed in media coverage and official statements regarding the case as of upload the date of this video. The last sighting. One of the most significant pieces of evidence in the Rui Pedro's disappearance is the last confirmed sighting of him. Witnesses reported seeing him riding his bicycle near his home in Lusada on March 4th, 1998. Some witnesses also reported seeing him interacting with an unidentified man in a white car before he vanished. Witness testimony. Testimony from witnesses who claim to have seen Rui Pedro on the day of his disappearance has been an essential aspect of the investigation. Witnesses' statements have provided great details about his activities and interaction leading up to the time he went missing. Vehicle description. Witness reported seeing Rui Pedro interacting with an unknown man in a white car shortly before his disappearance. Descriptions of the vehicle and individual involved have been considered significant pieces of evidence. Search efforts. Exhaustive search efforts have been conducted in the area surrounding Lusada and beyond in an attempt to locate Rui Pedro. These searches have involved law enforcement agencies, search and rescue teams, volunteers, and specialized resources. But unfortunately, no traces of him have been found. Forensic analysis. Forensic analysis of physical evidence collected during the investigation, such as items found near the last known public location of Rui Pedro, or potential evidence recovered from witness accounts, may have conducted to gathered additional information, clues, or information about his disappearance. Media coverage and public appeals. Of course, there's been lots of media coverage and public appeals for information about Rui Pedro's disappearance, which have played, of course, a crucial role in keeping his case in the public eye and generating leads or tips from the community. Information provided by the public in response to these appeals would have contributed greatly to the investigation. The family statements and efforts. Statements and efforts made by the Rui Pedro family, including public appeals for information and participation in awareness-raising events, have also been significant aspects of the case. Their advocacy and determination to find answers have helped keep attention on the investigation. It's important to note that while these are some of the key pieces of evidence and information related to the disappearance of Rui Pedro Teixeira Mendonça, the full extent of evidence collected and analyzed by law enforcement agencies may not all be publicly disclosed due to the ongoing and sensitive nature of this investigation.